So, Susan, will you please tell us a little bit about the path that led you to be involved in an all-encompassing organization as the Mental Health Association?
Well, Reva, I was attending Sac State, getting my bachelor's in psychology, and I volunteered at the Mental Health Association, and it turned into a much bigger role than I expected in the beginning, and I really fell in love with many of the people over there as well as the programs, and I guess the place just really has captured my heart.
What about it captured your heart?
Well, I think probably the biggest thing that captured my heart was the commitment and the level of hard work and determination that comes from our volunteers. We've had so many volunteers over the years that have really stayed with the organization and have just been really steadfast in their commitment to helping other people and to working even in the office and just supporting one another where we're at. And I just think that that is really something that, really touched me because these people do not get paid for what they do, but at the same time, the reward that they receive is so great.
Yeah, one of the things that I just had a ball with when I was serving on the mental health board, and it was so great because I had had an idea for about 10 years that I had wanted to get going, and so I suggested it to the board, and they said yes, and we got it going. And what we did, we had like a Peanuts booth in the mall up in Citrus Heights, and we had tables and all kinds of handouts. And between Thanksgiving and New Year's, we had volunteer counselors, therapists here in town, 3 at a time on like 3-hour shifts, talking with people who had major problems and little problems and wanted to know where they could go for help. And it was really quite exciting.
Well, that's a great idea, Reva. Maybe we need to do that again sometime. Maybe you could help us out with that. I would love to be involved with a program like that.
Yeah, it was really a good outreach thing. So again, now we have David Robinson. Let me introduce you to him so you can know that voice when he comes on and gets that mic right near his mouth, real close.
Hi, this is Dave.
This is Dave, and he's the recruiter for volunteers.
I work in recruiting, and also I am the media specialist.
So tell me what's the volunteer senior program that you're in charge of?
It's the senior peer counselors. It goes back a number of years. There was, I think, in the 60s, a group called the peer counselors, and they would try to help one another. And now they've turned it into the senior peer counselors. It's international in scope, and the local part of it is under the aegis of Sacramento Mental Health Association.
So these are other seniors who are helping.
Don't have to be other seniors, but basically.
What's a peer then? Is a peer? I always thought it was.
In that I understand where you're from, man. It goes back that far. I understand. And I want to be with you and help you get through this. So we do have people that are younger, but they're people that generally have an affinity for an elder person. Maybe their grandparent or their grandma or somebody like that was very good to them when they were younger, and they want to help somebody. And we basically just visit folks who are independently living in a small apartment somewhere, or in a little studio apartment, and we spend time with them. We're also known as friendly faces because we knock on the door, say, howdy do, how are you, what's been going on with you, and we're there because we want to be there.
Do they ask for this? Do people call in and say, hey, I'd like to have a volunteer come in and visit me?
They can do it. They can do it through the Mental Health Association, through their doctor. They'll be able to be referred to us. And to my knowledge, as I understand it, because I'm a new kid on the block concerning this.
You don't look
new. No, I'm not a new kid, but with this I'm new. And I'll tell you that story too, because I understand we have an hour and there'll be plenty of time to do that. We are the only organization of our kind that is totally volunteer. We don't even pay mileage for our volunteers. They do it because they have a big heart.
Now, are the people that you go visit, are they having mental health problems, or is this to prevent mental health problems and loneliness and depression?
Both. Let me give you an idea of how that works. Have you ever seen the movie Papillon or currently on cable. There's one called Oz. It has to do with the Oswald Penitentiary. We've seen these other movies with James Cagney. And every so often, if you're a bad inmate, you go.
Even Susan, do you even know who James Cagney is?
Oh, I certainly do, Reva. Yes, I do.
And if an inmate is not behaving, he goes into solitary. He's in lockup. And I've often wondered what it would be like to be in that little room. That is your world for the period of time that you're there. In some penal associations, they say that that's cruel and unusual punishment, because to be deprived of any kind of stimulation, to be in a barren, sterile environment is pretty ugly. So yes, to answer your question, some of our folks have been in a situation, not in jail, of course, but they've been, pardon the expression, wasting away in a small apartment somewhere, maybe with a cat, but very little else. Maybe a chore worker. They go to see their doctor and their physical therapist, but they don't have any emotional support. And they start to get depressed. And depression, of course, can spread to all other kinds of maladies. They don't eat right. And, of course, when your diet is wrong and you're dehydrated, you can have some fairly interesting dementia.
So do the visitors talk to them about food and vitamins and
Talk
things
to
like
them
that?
about anything.
About anything?
It's
just
almost
a friend, just like going in.
It's almost as though what we're doing now. I'm knowing a little bit more about you, and
Yeah,
you're
I'm
dying.
feeling a little
and you're-
less lonely in
and
this
you're,
room.
And you're dying to know all about me.
I am.
And I'd
I'm
like to know
living.
about you
I'm
too.
living for that.
Exactly.
Not dying.
Well, then that helps me too, doesn't it?
Well, very good. Thanks so much. Susan seems to have something here that she
Reva,
wants to say.
Yes, I just wanted to add that as far as, there are several people in the program that do have mental health issues, and certainly anybody that with a mental illness is welcome in the program, but it is not a necessity. They do not have to have a mental health problem to be in the program. Basically, it's anybody who is in home, isolated, oftentimes the frail elderly, and anybody who just is in need of a friend. And I'd just like to emphasize that is really the basis for the program. We try very hard not to go in there and fix people or to try to tell them how to live or what they should do, but just support them where they're at and bring them out to the park if they want to, or go play checkers or cards with them, or whatever they really need. And one of the other components of that program is some parties that we have. We have probably 3 to 4 parties a year, mostly to recognize the volunteers that work with our clients, but we also invite the clients to these parties. And it's just a wonderful thing to see these elderly people come out. And sometimes the last party we had a luau, and they actually got up and did the hula. And just, see them communicating with other people and really socializing and interacting, sometimes for the first time in years. And it's just a delight to us to see people actually become involved in the community.
Okay. So when we'll be able to talk a little bit about how you do your outreach and how you find people. And if any of you are kind of at home right now and you would like a visitor or you would like to find out more, give us a call right now at 456-5199.
Sacramento's alternative choice is The Voice, 91.5 FM, 88.7 cable FM, and worldwide via streaming media at sacramento.org.
Yeah, so do you consider yourself like a person who's an activist, Susan? We talk about action callers, and the people I have as guests are change makers, people who make a difference in the community. Would you call that an activist? And how do you see yourself?
I think I probably would consider myself an activist, and I think that anybody who cares about others in the community and is willing to go the extra mile and maybe get involved in public policy or do whatever it takes to make a difference, whether that means on the political level or even on the personal level, I think would be considered an activist.
How about you, David? What do you consider yourself? Don't.
Well, if an activist is somebody who makes changes, and now understand that Susan knows all of this stuff. I only know about the senior peer counselors because I am one.
Mm-hmm.
I only know about elders because I am one.
You are one too, huh?
Yes. And we make a change there. I currently have 4 clients. There's a guy that's 10 years older than I am. He shows me the future of my own life.
He chose you.
Shows me the future. He shows me what it's going to be like in 10 years. And
yes.
because he's
Mm-hmm.
brilliantly alert and lots of fun, it's like an older brother for me.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see how selfish I am.
Mm-hmm.
I love being with him because of what I can get from him.
You know, I hear that on all my change makers seem to say they get more out of whatever program
Yep.
they're working on than they think that the people who
Yep.
are receiving
Yeah.
their help. Yeah. And
It might give you a little bit of an idea because I promised I would tell you a little bit about me.
uh-huh.
I emigrated from Los Angeles 10 years ago
Me too, 24 years ago.
to this place called Sacramento.
Yes.
Down there they call it Sactomatoes, and
Mm-hmm.
I never knew why till I got up here and saw the tomato trucks, during the ag season. I came up here to work at National Broadcasting School. My background has been broadcasting all the way back to 1951.
Wow.
And I worked 15 years in Los Angeles. That was the pinnacle,
Maybe I
guess,
heard you there.
on KBIG
KBIG, I
from,
don't remember.
from 1971 to 1987.
Yeah, is that why you have a nice voice?
Yes. Well, when you're a little kid and your voice changes and you're romping through puberty, or is it puberty?
Uh-huh.
Well, you're romping nevertheless, and somebody says, why, you've got a nice voice. You ought to blah, 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 be in radio, and you take it seriously, and that takes you off into that particular area.
What were you what kind of programs did you do?
I was a DJ.
A DJ, what kind of music? You played the oldies?
Mostly, well, the
They
oldies.
were new then.
They were new then, yeah, they were current. I've always worked a middle-of-the-road format. K-Big in the early 70s was what they called just beautiful music, and then it got a little more elevator music, and then they started playing vocals, Ed Ames, but before that they were playing Mantovani. Did you know that May is Mantovani Bun?
Had no idea.
Well, it doesn't really matter. At any rate, they went into what was known as soft,
Rock.
adult contemporary. Never worked rock and roll. I worked at a station in Baltimore, which is my home, WFBR, where Arthur Godfrey got his start when he got out of the Coast Guard. And that was a chicken rock station. Have you ever heard that expression?
No, never heard of chicken
We
rock.
made believe we were playing Elvis Presley because we would publish a play sheet that would go to the record stores. But we never did play Elvis Presley. So somebody wanting to hear Elvis Presley might listen to our station and say, gee, these guys are great. I guess I just missed the king. And then by the time they really get hungry for it, they've tuned out, and we never had to play it. So it's called chicken rock.
You know, I have one question I've always wanted to ask a disc jockey.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do while the records are playing?
We smoke Pall Mall cigarettes because they're the longest, and they usually sit in the ashtray. This goes back to the old days. We take telephone calls from ladies who think that we have a lovely voice and we should get together later on. It never works out.
Never.
I've tried it many times. And we are then, because back in the old days, we played phonograph records, so we had to get them together. We had to put them on the turntable and cue them up.
Oh, yeah, I've been
take it
learning
to-
how to cue here. Yeah,
You take it to the modulation and come back 3/4 of a turn.
Yeah.
And like that.
do-
Everything
they do
today,
that.
everything is fairly well automated, and you push a master button, and then you are just one of the elements
Yeah.
instead of being a human being.
Okay, so so you did that for a while, and
When the National
how did-
Broadcasting School closed, I found myself in my mid-60s, wandering somewhere. I had found a young lady who was a student at the school. Well, gee, we became in love. She was half my age, and you would
he
think...
got a smile on his face. I want you all
you
to know.
would think on the face of it, somebody's got to be crazy. Why would she marry a guy that's twice her age, or why would I allow her to when she's half my age? But she was brilliant. She was a wonderful person, and it went as far as it could go. We bought a little house out in Natomas and that sort of thing. When that was over, this is 1967, I spent a year...
Without the whole history, what's been going on? How did you get yourself to be like active here, you know,
Okay.
in mental health?
I was right at that place.
Well, yeah,
In
good.
1967, I was moved into an apartment with a couple of cats, and 97, pardon me. I missed it by 30 years.
Just,
Moved
just
into an apartment with a couple of cats and went through introspection because I'm retired, which means I have very little identity. When you lose your job, you lose your identity. What's your name and what do you do? Ultimately, a young friend of mine said, why don't you, before you commit suicide, why don't you go over to American River College? They have a wonderful gerontology program. That started January of 98. I did 2.5 years there, matriculating, and just last May I got my certificate in gerontology.
and
I
so
am Barbara Galogli's favorite student.
is she the teacher there?
She runs the gerontology department. She's the best thing on the face of the earth.
So you got this volunteer position.
I have, as part of the work experience in the classes, I volunteered, and then things started to change a little bit, and they said, well, Dave's a pretty nice guy, and he's got a broadcast background. Why don't we throw him a little part-time job so we can count on his being here?
You know, speaking of that, you know, this station that we're on, 91.5, is Access Sacramento, and it is a community-based program, station. And you at the Mental Health Association actually could put on a show here once a week if you wanted. And you'd have to take the class and pass on doing all the things, but you could have a mental health program. Could be another project where you could bring in all kinds of people all the time.
We've been thinking about doing something just like that.
Yeah, and this goes all over Sacramento. What do you think about that, Susan?
I think that would be a wonderful idea. Dave and I have talked about doing one. He had kind of a passion to do a show for regarding senior issues, a kind of a call-in talk show, probably very
that would be
similar to
great.
this one, Reva, regarding issues that affect the folks in the elderly population. And I think
I think it's needed.
yeah, I do too, and I think there are so many issues, and these folks don't really have too many places to go with these problems and concerns that they have, and I think that would be a delightful idea. What do you think, Dave?
But of course it would be.
What's the but, though?
That's
What's-
almost like a loaded question. Of course it would be.
Is that something you'd like to do?
Dave's always a little hesitant at first. Sometimes he needs a little coaxing into things,
Well, it's
You
that
get-
last wife I have. She frightened me. I'm afraid of life now.
Well, you could
She
have.
was too powerful for
Maybe
me.
you could have a man co-host. Okay, so Susan, could you tell us about some of the other programs that are going on at the Mental Health Association? I know there have always been a lot of them.
Certainly, Reva. One of the other programs that we have that really reaches out to the community and helps people who are in need of referrals and resource information regarding mental health issues is our information and referral program. And through that program, we also publish our annual Tri-County Self-Help Directory, as well as our practitioner directory. And we are also involved with the National Mental Health Association in a campaign called the Campaign for America's Mental Health. And through that campaign, we do a lot of public education. We go speak at businesses and colleges and many other public forums, health fairs, and things like that.
What do you speak about?
We speak about depression or anxiety disorders, various mental illnesses, the signs and symptoms of those illnesses, ways that they can get treatment for those things, support for family members, self-help support groups. Basically, those are the issues that we go and try to speak about, just trying to educate people and also to try to erase the stigma that is involved with mental illness, because we still find that there is a great deal of stigma involved with people to recognize that they have a mental illness and to actually seek any kind of help, as I'm sure you know, Reva, in your business.
Yeah, I all of a sudden in this, it's been interesting. I've been wondering, as well as some of the other therapists in town, starting in February, all the counselors we all got very, very busy. And it seems like maybe we've broken through that barrier, beginning to break through the barrier of mental. You don't have to be sick to seek help when you're first feeling bad. And people are starting to volunteer to come and see therapists on their own and early on before they become big problems, because I haven't seen an increase in heavy-duty kinds of issues, and it's general people coming in.
Has your demographic changed? Your age
No,
demographic?
no.
Are there more older people than you used to have?
No, there doesn't seem to be more. In fact, there aren't a lot. My practice, I have a few but it's not a. I think there's a whole need for the elderly to get into groups and to.
But they
have
don't
that-
like to admit that there may be something wrong, you know. That's part of being
Yeah.
what they are.
If you can all know that it's not nothing about us is wrong, we just are the way we are, and if it makes us unhappy, then we maybe want to get some help and get some new ideas. So we'll be right back.
This is The Voice.
Do you like 80s modern rock? I know I do. That's why I sample Random Access Fridays at 8. Random Access will blow you back into a world you thought was gone forever. Visit our webpage at www.w3dj.com/random. Get random every Friday night and Saturday morning at 8. Random Access, heard only on Sacramento's Voice.
For the ultimate in contemporary pop and soulful jazz, tune in to the Sophisticated Jazz Show with our very own, the suave Elwood J. Tuesday evenings from 6 to 8 p.m. and every Wednesday morning from 6 to 8 a.m. at 91.5 on your FM dial. The Sophisticated Jazz Show. It's more of what you're listening for.
Vincent Watson, are you listening? This is Dorothy Franklin, and you mentor my son, Corey. He says you help him with questions he has. But ever since you came into his life, things haven't been the same. His grades have gone up. He seems happier. You've made a difference in my son's life, Vincent. To him, you are a mentor. To me, you are a saint.
Do good. Call 1-877-BE-A-MENTOR.
Message brought to you by Save the Children U.S. and the Ad Council.
10,000 eyes are on me, shouting, Casey, go all the way. First base, second base, third base. Make your move today. Do it, Casey, do it. Score mighty, Casey, score. I just don't get it. Is that what girls are for?
If you don't talk with your kids about sex, who will? For a free booklet that can help you discuss all kinds of tough issues, call 1-800-CHILD-44, sponsored by Children Now.
It began in 1986. In 1988, Access Sacramento brought you round-the-clock community radio. In 1997, Sacramento's voice is heard worldwide on the internet. In May of 1998, Access Sacramento expands the community voice again. Stay tuned as we usher in a new era in Sacramento radio. Access Sacramento and The Voice, Sacramento's community cable radio, internet, and something more. You are tuned to The Voice of Sacramento, the community-use cable radio station where you create and produce your own radio programs. Access Sacramento empowers Sacramento County residents through technical training and assistance. Visit us at the Coloma Community Center at 4623 T Street, Sacramento, California. Funds for the operation of this channel are provided in part by the Sacramento Metropolitan Cable Television Commission. Questions or comments may be addressed to the Commission at 828 I Street, Sacramento, California, 95814. Reach the Commission by telephone at area code 916-440-6661. Sacramento's community radio, The Voice.
The Voice is 88.7 Cable FM and KYDS 91.5 FM Sacramento.
Okay, we're now back. I'm Reva Camiel, your host and action coach. And with us today we have Susan Gallagher, who is the Executive Director of the Mental Health Association of Sacramento Placer. And also with her is the volunteer coordinator for the seniors program is David Robinson, who is having lots of fun meeting lots of people and working with all kinds of volunteers. And you don't have to be a senior to be a volunteer, but you can be. And you can be one of the people that the visitors visit. And so I think Susan was talking a little bit about some of the other programs in the in the Mental Health Association, and the number that you can call to talk to these two wonderful people that I'm enjoying today is 456-5199. So just give us a call. We're here and open to support you in maybe starting a program. You know, like maybe the idea I gave Susan that I did a few years back for the Mental Health Association could be revived. And sometimes that's all you have to do is put an idea out there, and then there's somebody who might want to do it. And so that's an action itself. If you have an idea for something and you don't feel you can do it yourself, give us a call and we'll kind of walk you through maybe what it might take to put the thing together. So, Susan, what are some of the other things, and what have volunteers started, or what has gotten going over there at the Mental Health Association lately?
A couple of the other programs that we have right now, Reva, is our consumer advocacy program. Right now, we only have one person in that position, but she's had a very active role in helping to influence public policy for people with mental illness, primarily for adults with mental illness that are served in the public community mental health system. We also have, and I think you had some of our guests from this program on your show, is from our SAFE program, which is Sacramento Advocacy for Family Empowerment. And what that program does basically is advocate for family members that have children in the public mental health system. And they also provide support groups for the parents and caregivers of those children, as well as provide educational meetings and things like that for them.
They do some wonderful things. They even go to, I think, court with you if you need to. I mean, they're more than a support. They are.
Yeah, they do a lot of IEPs for the children with the school district and things like that. But one of the things that they do twice a month at the Sacramento County Mental Health Treatment Center is provide the support group and the educational forum, and it is called Family Night Out. And there's a light dinner provided, child care is provided, and parents and caregivers can come out and learn a little bit about mental illness, also mental health, and be supported where they're at by people that are actually going through the same type of experiences.
Okay, tell me, I've done a lot of I've been in self-help groups myself. I've led some professional, like the bereavement outreach, being a facilitator there. That's another great group that I'd like to have on soon is Bereavement Outreach. They meet on Thursday nights at Sutter. And they have counselors who come there and are volunteers to lead the groups of people who have, some of them recently and sometime a long time ago, had somebody die, and they're still dealing with their grieving, and sometimes that's a very healthy thing to still be doing. So where was I going? I lost my own track.
I think you got there.
Did I get there?
Yeah.
Well, okay, if you say so.
We're not in Kansas anymore, are we, Toto?
Maybe we are. Okay.
I think the point you were trying to make, Reva, is that any of us can work with support groups and help others in that capacity. I think that was what you...
Right. So the question is, and maybe other people might have it in their heads, that how could somebody with the same problem I have be of help to me? So how would you answer that in a group?
Well, I think sometimes it's really an amazing phenomenon that people going through the same experience can help one another. And I think probably the biggest powerful part of that is the fact that it's a safe place for people to share their stories. And I think, especially in dealing with mental illness, oftentimes people don't feel safe sharing that with just anybody. And when they know that somebody else has gone through that experience, then they're a little bit more able to share, or more free to share, in that kind of a safe environment. And I think that's one of the ways. And then I think as people recover from mental illness, or have people in their family that have a mental illness, one of the things is it's kind of a journey, it's a process. And along that process, people are at different places in that. And in the support group, you see people that maybe aren't quite where you are, or are a little bit further on than you are. And so it's really kind of a support network along the way of that journey.
Yeah, and I was thinking about one of the supports is like if one person has seen some psychiatrist that didn't treat them well.
Exactly.
that they can say, hey, that guy, don't go to him.
He's a jerk, exactly.
Or, boy, he or she was a good psychiatrist, really very supportive, warm. You can get your calls can go through, or certain medications work for me. Have you tried that?
Yes.
Certain things didn't work for me, and somebody else can say, well, it worked for me. You know, and so there can be, you can get a lot of information, and people know a lot about internet now, I think, in groups.
Absolutely.
And how to get good information off of the internet. And some people don't know the internet has all those good things. So it's support groups, I think, are whether they're professionally led or peer led, they're great.
We also provide training for people who want to become self-help facilitators. So if any of you out there would like to do that, please do call the Mental Health Association. Our main number is 368-3280, and we have
one more time,
368-3280, and we have a great deal of resources, literature, and staff that can help with anybody who would like to become a facilitator of a support group.
Good. Was there any other programs that you wanted to mention?
How about the senior peer counselors?
Yeah. What do you want to say about the senior peer counselors?
We also have a training program. We're in the middle of it now. There are 3 more wonderful classes. They run from 6:30 until 8:30, so it's 2 hours. Next one will be next Wednesday evening. The location is roughly Watt and Folsom.
Right.
You know where the Red Cross building is as you go south on Watt? We're in the twin building too. It's a stereo
It's
mirror.
a little tough finding your way in there. Do
You go behind lions.
Behind lions.
Yeah, and hope you don't find any tigers. Lions, tigers.
Oh, dear.
There's still time to get enough training so that you could start as a senior peer counselor, because we won't have another training until probably January. So, and we'd
This would
love
be a
to
good
have
time
you.
for the fall.
Yeah. Craig Johnson will be our speaker next week. You may know
he's
him.
great.
He is
He
wonderful.
is great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. He loves to teach.
Yeah.
And he
does.
makes things real clear, and
Yeah.
he's just wonderful.
And
he
we
has
have
a lot
little-
of games and things
We
to
have
do.
little little snacks before.
Snickers.
And we
snack.
get to know one another. Well, that's a Frederick, Maryland term.
Oh, I
Farm
haven't heard
term.
that one. I
Snickers.
love
Bring you
learning these.
Snicker snacks.
Well, we didn't used to do food, Reva, but once we started doing the food, we found we got more volunteers and people really had a better time. So we do
there's-
food now.
There's kind of 4 ways of learning. There's visual.
Mm-hmm.
There's kinesthetic, our body. Some of us learn through our body. That's how I learn. There's visual, and there's gastronomical. Truly, the smell and the taste of food helps some people learn better.
Speaking of the internet, I heard, because you get wonderful
I
jokes
was speaking
from the-
about food.
Yes, I know. Well, this has to do with both. From the internet, I got a joke, and it says, what is the best way to a man's heart? With a dagger. Well, it's kind of a black joke. It's a dark thing. It's
Yeah, very dark. Yes.
But speaking of internet, we are developing a web page right now at the Mental Health Association, and our domain name will be www.mhasc.org.
SC like Sam.
Sacramento chapter. mhasc.org. And it's already in progress, so if you pull that up on the web, you will see at least the front page of the web, but it's under construction at the time. And
Does it have a phone number on there and things like that?
all of our main phone numbers are on there, and we're hoping to provide a lot more information in there within the coming months.
Okay, so maybe can you tell us some of the qualities you see in your coworkers and friends and volunteers that make a difference to people with mental health problems?
Yes, I think all of us probably at the Mental Health Association are slightly different. At least we like to think we are. Wonderfully different.
Different than whom?
Oh, just a unique group of people, a very diverse group of people, and that runs the gamut from age to cultural and religious beliefs, and in very many ways, but it's just a really neat group that comes together to help other people, and I think part of that is the fact that we accept people as they are. People with a mental illness feel very comfortable around us. We're very compassionate people, and we care, and we show a lot of love. And that sounds kind of corny, But I think that that's really the key, is that we have people that really have big hearts, that really care about other people, and are willing to accept those people and be tolerant of everybody in all different walks of life, and just meet them where they're at and try to fill their needs, whatever they may be.
You know, when I think when I was on the board, there were many people who were clients or consumers who did work and volunteer as at the Mental Health Association. Is that still happening?
Still very much happening. We still have our volunteer consumer-run program within the office, and they do a lot of different things with us in the office and in some of our outreach programs. But yes, most of our volunteers and most of our programs are consumer-run.
Yeah, when I hear the word consumer, I always think of consumer advocates and Ralph Nader.
He's on the green ticket this year.
Yeah, I noticed. So could you say a little bit about the word consumer and what it means in the mental health field?
Yeah, I felt the same way at first, Reva, when I heard that. But I know that I think it's basically a term that has come out of the county mental health system and is used frequently. And so
I like the word.
yeah, I do too. And I think it refers to people who have been consumers of the mental health system, basically, who have at one time or another been involved in the system, been a participant in receiving services through the system, and in a way it's kind of an empowering term because it means that they have a choice in their treatment and in their plans and goals and things like that.
Okay. Well, I was wondering, like, what state politicians and local politicians in this community are supportive to mental health issues? And which people does our audience and all of us need to talk to and let them know that they need to take some action on mental health issues?
Well, I think for years we've had kind of a silence in the legislature on mental health issues, and it's been really a hard battle to get people to pay attention. But I think in the last year or a couple of years, we've had really wonderful success in making some strides in getting the message across to people in the political realm, especially, I would say, in the last couple of years with Darrell Steinberg. He has co-authored a couple of bills, one of which was the Homeless Mentally Ill Bill, AB 34, which has really provided some extensive treatment and services to folks that are homeless and mentally ill. That has been a wonderful bill that has really funneled a lot of funds into Sacramento County and helped a lot of people that were living on the streets and were not able to get services, and were kind of the forgotten people out there that nobody seemed to care about. So I would definitely say that Assemblymember Steinberg is one of the leaders in the legislature right now. I would also say Senator Burton, pro tem of the Senate this year, has really stood firm in making mental health the #1 priority in the legislature.
Wow.
And that was really unheard of up until now. I mean, when he came out and said that it was the #1 priority, I mean, people really stood up and took notice. So we were really delighted to have his support.
Yeah, so those of you who are listening, one of the actions you could take is even writing a thank you letter and let him know that you really support that, because I'm sure he gets his letters where people say, don't support it. So when somebody does something positive, that's an action that we can take and let them know how much we appreciate them.
Absolutely.
Anybody else do you want to mention?
I think also Polanco was a very big influential person this year, and there's probably several others, Reva, that I'm leaving out, but I'm thinking of the main.
How about in the city? How about in our city?
I would say on the Board of Supervisors, Isla Collins has always been supportive of mental health issues and ardently supportive of people with mental illness. So, and that's been kind of a battle because they haven't always been supportive of some of the programs that are being placed in the city, and there's a lot of difficulty. The neighborhoods sometimes don't want the programs. We're struggling right now with the mentally ill offender grant and the location of the folks that are in that program, and they're usually on parole or probation, and many people in the neighborhood do not want them housed in their neighborhood, and it's really been quite a controversy. And
what neighborhood are they trying to get into
I believe
at this point?
It's East Street, and I'm not exactly specifically sure about that, but I know that she has been supportive, and she's been one of the minority.
How about you, David? You know some people around who people ought to thank for their work in mental health?
I am not a political animal at all.
You're not at all,
no. And again, as I told you earlier, Susan really knows this stuff. All I know is senior peer counseling.
So you're by sitting here and listening and being
I'm
here,
learning
you're learning
every day, every
day.
moment.
That's great, and that's political too.
Your radio station is The Voice, 91.5 FM, cable FM 88.7, and worldwide via streaming media at sacramento.org.
And now we're back on Action Callers here with Susan Gallagher and David Robinson and myself, Reva Camiel. And we were talking about the political aspects of mental health, and I think we're going to move along to something else at this point. I was just wondering, let's see, what are some of the things that, well, I'd like to hear from some of you out there, and call 456-5199 and let us know what you're thinking about mental health and about maybe parolees being in a community in a halfway house. Let's hear your points of view and hear what you have to say. This program is open to all ideas. I call it generous listening. If we can all be decent to each other. This is not a program to not be decent to each other. We want to create mental health on this program. So do you need any volunteers?
We always need volunteers, specifically in our senior peer counseling program, but really all of our programs are run on volunteer support as well. So we can always use volunteers who have an interest in mental health or just curious or would like to come and volunteer some time.
Yeah, so can you use volunteers who can write proposals for grants and things like that?
Absolutely, Reva, absolutely.
And what are some of the other kinds of people you might use that, some people don't like working with people, but they could help the Mental Health Association.
Well, we have a lot of administrative duties, clerical work, phone answering. Our information and referral program has callers that call in, so we always need volunteers in that capacity. So there are so many things that you could do as a volunteer at the Mental Health Association, and we welcome any and all volunteers.
Well, that's great. And let's see, what else, David, do you have something that you want to tell us about?
I want to read a commercial for senior peer counseling.
Well, you go for it.
Okay. You'll love this. I wrote it.
Uh-huh.
I'll do it in my
I'll let you write my scripts from now on. Would you like to volunteer?
Sure. I'll do it in my radio voice.
All right, go do it in your voice.
They're called senior peer counselors, and what they do is pay a visit to the lonely older adult once a week for an hour or so. For the senior, it's having a friend drop by for some hot coffee and warm conversation. For the counselor, it's a chance to take some time out from the normal day-to-day routine and relax with someone nice who is very happy to see them. Usually, both the counselor and their companion have some of the best times you could imagine. They might go shopping together or to the park or just sit around and have a good old-fashioned gab fest. Of course, you don't have to be older to become a counselor, but you should have an interest in being with someone who has a fascinating history and a peaceful personality. If this sounds like you and you'd like to know more, call 368-3282 to find out about the free training sessions currently going on. Senior Peer Counseling is a nonprofit volunteer human service organization that simply cares about seniors. That number again, 368-3282.
Yay!
I didn't hear any hip hip hoorays there, but the yay was
well,
quite
maybe we'll
good.
get a call, 456-5199. Give us a call. We're waiting for you, and we have our person who will greet you first, and then we'll put you on the show. So let's see. There was something else. I know. We kind of sound real upbeat about things. Is there any kind of roadblocks or ways that that you sometimes get down about when you go home, and something about volunteering, or what's the downside?
Again, I'm the senior peer counselor guy.
Uh-huh.
I sometimes hope that my client will catch my madness. Mm-hmm. And this also is a question professionally to you, and I ask this to anybody who knows about things psychological. Can I use humor as a therapy? And everybody seems to say, sure you can, because I am a mad hatter. I've become a silly person, and that's what you can do when you become an elder and you retire. Rather than reaching over your shoulder and trying to grab the past, which is no longer there, if you can get yourself to the place of saying, this is a new adventure, wowee, and this is what I try to do. That's the way that I handle it.
I couldn't survive in the business that I'm in for 30 years, listening to problems, working in penal institutions and working with ex-cons and all kinds of things, and working with the head of agencies and the head of programs in our state, and working with the custodians and working with the whole. I couldn't be in this business if I didn't bring my little kid and my laughter and my sense of joy and love of life. And for definitely I, as one professional, have a lot of fun at my work.
Johann Wolfgang Goethe, Goethe.
They have a park named out here.
Goethe is called Gaiety Park. Goethe, he said, age makes us not childish, as some say, semicolon. It finds us still true children. I memorized that. It took a week, but I memorized it.
Very good.
And I know how many stitches are in a regulation baseball. I bet you don't.
How many?
If I tell you, will you promise to remember it till the day you die?
I can't remember my name sometimes, so I can't promise anything.
Then I'm
like
not going to
that.
tell you. I'm not going to tell you, or I could tell you anything.
Yes,
This is the kind of silliness that I do with my clients. And at first they say, what's wrong with him? And then when they realize that I'm totally harmless, I can see them rise to it. And they start talking to their cat or to the refrigerator, like I've taught them to do. No, I'm just kidding.
Listen, some cats are nicer than a lot of people.
I know mine is. My cat Leroy, he's a good guy.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
He's one of the good guy cats. Okay.
But Reva, one of the things that I will comment on there, if you don't mind, is that
I do want you to do that.
Well, I think sometimes we get frustrated because there still is kind of a lack of services, particularly for older adults in our community, a lack of places for them to go to get services. And even for many people with mental health problems, there still are a real lack of services, some low-cost counseling services and things like that where they can go and receive help. And when they call us and they are looking for places like that and we can't really supply them with that information, it is discouraging. And unless sometimes they're at a real crisis situation, they really can't be seen in our public mental health system. And oftentimes there are waiting lists and things like that at the low-cost counseling centers. And it is a frustrating situation because you don't want to see their mental health problems escalate to the point that sometimes they do before they actually get the help that they need.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is something. So people who are interested in working with seniors and you have maybe some ideas about how you might do it creatively, something that hasn't been done. I know as I told you before, the Mental Health Association is great at taking on new ideas and there are plenty of people around who might want to do that. It's something that you have in mind. And sometimes some of us have ideas on our blue sky boards for lots of years, waiting for ourselves to have more retirement time and things to do things. And this is a place that you can put a lot of your energy. And we have a wonderful community of volunteers, not just for the Mental Health Association, but for many. We had Nancy Feindessen on the show, and she talked about all the different programs. And Sacramento is a wonderful place for getting wonderful volunteers. And I just want to thank you both so much for being here today and taking your time and letting us know about your program and bringing some joy to my life and some laughter. Yeah, I like your silliness. Yes.
Thank you.
I like your little kid.
Thank you, Reva. Could I make one plug for our annual awards banquet?
Oh, you bet you can.
Every year we do have an annual awards banquet where we give out awards to members of the community who have worked in the mental health field and have also promoted mental health through the media and the legislature. And this year we'll be having our event on October 12th. And it will be at the Discovery Museum in Old Sacramento, and it's open to the public, and we hope that people will come and enjoy their time and watch people be awarded for their work in the community.
That's fantastic. So the number they should call is?
368-3280.
Okay, and so what I'd like to do now is, I call this my current event part of the program, and I'd like you to know about some things that are going on in the community. And right now, there's the senior hotline. If you're 60 or over and have a legal question or problem, call 926-442-1212. Actually, it's 916-442-1212. And you can speak directly with a legal person, a member of the legal staff, for a free confidential telephone consultation. And their hours are from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday through Thursday. And some of the issues that they are knowledgeable about are Social Security, Medi-Cal, wills, probate, powers of attorney, and I'm interested in this one, grandparent rights, consumer issues, foreclosure, and landlord-tenant issues. And so that's a good one to call. Again, that number is 442-1212. And you can stay tuned right now for my next show, which starts in a few minutes, Interaction. And I'm going to be having a great storyteller on that show with one of the fairy tales, and he shows how to integrate fairy tales into your life. And that goes on at 7 o'clock on Wednesdays. And let's see. Number 3, there is the Family Resources Advisory Team is looking for new team members, parents, children and youth, and young adults who together advise the Sacramento County Mental Health Board on issues affecting children's mental health. So call Carol at 916-422-0939 or Kathy at 332-7803. And I just wanted you to know how much I enjoyed being with all of you, the listeners, and our guests, and our volunteers, Diane Matar and Michael Geller. So thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next Wednesday, and have a great week.